I won't cheat on you. But if someone better shows up, why would I stay? She said. I said, makes sense. Then I started dating someone new a week later. She saw us together and lost it. I said, someone better showed up. Why would I stay? Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. Throwaway account because mutual friends might recognize this, and honestly, I don't want the drama spilling over. But I need to get this off my chest. It's been a wild ride, and if it helps anyone else spot the red flags early, great. Let me start from the beginning. Emily and I met back in college, about 8 years ago. I was studying engineering, she was in marketing, and we clicked over late-night study sessions in the library. She was ambitious, funny, and had this way of making you feel like you were the center of her world, at least at first. I fell hard. After graduation, we moved in together in a small apartment in the city, scraping by on entry-level jobs. I got a steady gig at a tech firm, nothing flashy but reliable, with good benefits. Emily bounced around a bit, trying to climb the ladder in her field, and I was there for her every step. When she got laid off 2 years in, I covered the rent solo for months while she networked and rebuilt her resume. I even turned down a promotion that would have required relocating because she wasn't ready to move. We're a team, I'd say, and I meant it. I cooked dinners, planned weekend getaways to keep her spirits up, and listened to her vent about how the job market was full of sharks who only care about themselves. Looking back, there were signs, but I chalked them up to stress. She'd scroll through social media endlessly, liking posts about leveling up in life and relationships. Stuff like memes saying, if you're not growing together, you're growing apart, or quotes about not settling for average. At first, it seemed motivational, but then it got personal. She'd show me pictures of her friends' boyfriends, guys with flashy cars or exotic vacations, and say things like, see, that's what happens when you take risks. I'd laugh it off, but it stung. Was I not risking enough? I was the one holding us steady while she figured things out. Then came the subtle digs. One night, after a long day, we were cuddling on the couch watching some show, and she paused it out of nowhere. Hey, can we talk about something? She said, her tone casual, like she was discussing dinner plans. I nodded, thinking it was about bills or whatever. But no, I've been thinking, she continued, about us, long term. You're great, really. Stable kind. But I see all these people online living these big lives, and I wonder if I'm missing out. I felt my stomach drop, but I kept it cool. What do you mean? I asked. She shrugged, like it was no big deal. I mean, I love you, but if someone came along who could, I don't know, push me further, more exciting, more successful, why wouldn't I explore that? It's not cheating if I'm honest about it up front. I stared at her. So, you're saying our relationship is conditional? Not conditional, she replied, rolling her eyes a bit. Realistic. Life's short. People upgrade jobs, houses. Why not partners? I won't cheat on you, but if someone better shows up, why would I stay? You'd do the same if a supermodel knocked on your door, right? I didn't say much then, just processed it. But inside, it hit like a truck. I'd sacrificed opportunities for her, been her rock, and now I was just placeholders until better arrived. That night, I lay awake, replaying every moment I'd given up for us. The job offer I'd declined, the friends' weddings I'd skipped to support her events, the way I'd hyped her up during her lows. It felt unfair, like I'd been playing by rules she never intended to follow. The confusion gnawed at me. Was I really that disposable? I didn't confront her dramatically. Instead, I started pulling back quietly, testing the waters of my own independence. Gym more, hang out with old friends, focus on work projects I'd sidelined. Over the next few weeks, things escalated without me pushing. Emily started posting more on social media, vague stories about embracing change and not settling. One post was a repost of an article titled, "Why Staying in a Safe Relationship Holds You Back," with a caption like, "Food for thought ballooned." Friends messaged me asking if we were okay, and I'd just say, "We're fine." But we weren't. She'd flirt with the idea of networking events that ran late, coming home smelling like wine and excitement, talking about this guy from her industry circle, Alex, who was killing it with his startup. "He's so driven," she'd say, eyes lighting up. Makes you rethink what's possible. I saw the writing on the wall. She was window shopping, using her own logic to justify it. It hurt, the way she'd compare me indirectly, making me feel like a backup plan. I'd given her stability, loyalty, the kind of commitment that lets someone chase dreams without fear. And in return, emotional abandonment, wrapped in realism. I spent those days in silence, not begging or arguing, just observing, letting the unfairness sink in. Why fight for someone who saw me as temporary? It was a quiet unraveling, and I let it breathe, giving myself time to grieve what I thought we had. Then came the breakup conversation. It was a Friday evening, about a month after her initial realistic talk. I'd come home from work, and she was already dressed up. Nice dress, makeup done, like she had plans. "We need to talk," she said, sitting me down at the kitchen table. Her tone was smug, almost rehearsed, like she'd practiced in the mirror. I nodded. "Okay." She leaned forward, folding her hands. "Look, I've been thinking a lot about what I said before, about not settling. And Alex asked me out. Properly. He's got this energy, this drive. It's what I need right now to level up my career. We're going to dinner tonight to see where it goes." I blinked, keeping my face neutral. "So, you're breaking up with me?" "Not breaking up exactly," she said, waving a hand dismissively. "Just exploring options. Like I said, I won't cheat. This is me being honest. If it doesn't work with him, we can talk. But honestly, you deserve someone who's content with this." She gestured around our modest apartment, like it was a prison. "Content with what? Stability? Loyalty?" I asked calmly, though inside it boiled. The hypocrisy of her using me as a safety net while preaching about upgrading. She sighed, like I was being difficult. "Come on, don't make this dramatic. It's logical. People evolve. I thought you'd understand. You're smart. Why stay if better's out there? It's not personal, it's practical. You'll find someone who matches your pace." Her words were twisted, full of justifications that made her sound enlightened, but really, it was just entitlement. Smug, like she was doing me a favor by being honest. No remorse, just this dismissive attitude, as if I'd been holding her back all along. "Anyway," she continued, checking her phone, "I packed a bag for the weekend. Give you space to process. We can figure out the lease later." I didn't beg, didn't yell, just looked at her and said, "Makes sense." She paused, eyebrow raised. "That's it. No fight. What would that change?" I replied evenly. "Your logic's sound. Why stay if better shows up?" She smiled, almost relieved. "See? I knew you'd get it. You're mature like that." Then she grabbed her keys and left, heels clicking down the hall. The door shut, and I sat there in the silence. The confusion hit hardest then, the unfairness of it all. I'd been all in, undeservedly cast aside like yesterday's news. I let myself feel it that night. The sting of betrayal, the emotional discard. Poured a drink, scrolled through old photos, wondered where I'd gone wrong. But by morning, something shifted. Her words echoed. Why would I stay? If that was her rulebook, maybe it could be mine too. I didn't plot revenge. I just decided to apply her realism to my own life. Cleaned the apartment, hit the gym, called a buddy for drinks. No dramatic posts or calls to her family, just quiet detachment. Little did I know, that was the start of everything flipping. That weekend was rough, but transformative. Emily was off, exploring with Alex, and I had the apartment to myself. No calls from her, no check-ins, just radio silence, like she'd already mentally checked out. I could have spiraled, replaying her words over and over. Why would I stay if better shows up? It echoed in my head, twisting the knife. I'd been loyal to a fault, the guy who shows up no matter what. Remember that time her car broke down on a road trip? I drove 3 hours in the rain to pick her up, no questions asked. Or when she had that panic attack before a big presentation, I stayed up all night rehearsing with her, even though I had an early meeting. Those flashbacks hit hard, underscoring the unfairness. She'd taken it all for granted, turning our commitment into some kind of probation period. But I didn't wallow. Instead, I let the silence breathe. Saturday morning, I woke up early, made coffee, and stared out the window at the city waking up. The confusion was still there. Why had I not seen this coming? Was I blind to her entitlement? I journaled a bit, something I hadn't done since college, jotting down the red flags I'd ignored, the constant comparisons, the social media shade, the way she'd light up talking about ambitious guys like Alex while dismissing my steady progress as safe. It felt like emotional abandonment, Plain and simple. She'd manipulated the narrative to make her betrayal sound progressive, like she was evolving while I was stagnant. The disrespect burned, but I refused to let it define me. By afternoon, I started detaching practically. Changed the locks, not out of spite, but because why not? Our lease was month to month anyway. I packed her stuff into boxes neatly, labeled them, and stacked them by the door. No dramatic bonfire or anything, just efficient. Then I hit the gym, harder than usual, channeling the hurt into something productive. Sweat it out, clear the mind. That evening, I called my buddy Mike, who I'd neglected during the relationship because Emily always wanted us time. We grabbed beers at a local spot, and I spilled the basics. No trash talking her, just the facts. She said what? Mike laughed in disbelief. Dude, that's cold. But you're free now. Let's make plans. The next few days blurred into a routine of self-focus. Work ramped up. I volunteered for a project I'd passed on before, the one with potential for a raise. Evenings were for hobbies, reading books I'd shelved, tinkering with that app idea I'd had forever. I felt the shift internally, from vulnerable and questioning my worth to a quiet clarity. Her logic wasn't wrong. It was just hypocritical. If relationships were upgradable, why was I stuck mourning? By midweek, I was scrolling dating apps casually, not desperate, but open. And that's when I matched with Sarah. Sarah was a graphic designer, 29, with a profile that screamed genuine. Photos of her hiking, volunteering at animal shelters, no filtered glamour shots. We chatted about shared interests, podcasts, indie films, and it flowed naturally. No games, no comparisons. She suggested coffee that Friday, a week after Emily left. Why not? I thought. Emily's rule: if better shows up. Sarah seemed like a breath of fresh air, someone who valued stability without seeing it as boring. Our first date was low-key, at a cafe downtown. We talked for hours, about dreams, failures, what we wanted in life. She laughed at my stories, shared her own vulnerabilities without weaponizing them. No smug undertones, just real connection. Walking her home, I felt something I hadn't in years. Excitement without the undercurrent of doubt. We kissed goodnight, and I drove back feeling lighter. Was it fast? Sure. But after Emily's emotional discard, why drag out the healing? I'd sat with the pain, processed the confusion, and now I was choosing to move forward. No rebound spite. Just applying the same realism she'd preached. Emily texted that Sunday, probably assuming I'd be pining. Hey, how's the space treating you? Miss our routines yet? I didn't respond right away. Let her sit with it, like she'd let me. When I did reply, it was brief. All good here. No details, no invitation. She followed up with, we should talk about the apartment soon. I ignored it. The detachment was complete. I'd erased her from my daily thoughts, building something new. Sarah and I went on a second date midweek, a picnic in the park, and it solidified things. She appreciated the little things, like how I listened without interrupting. You're thoughtful, she said. Rare these days. It was validation without the ego stroke, just genuine. Meanwhile, I heard whispers from mutual friends. Emily and Alex were official, posting couple pics online. Dinners, weekend getaways. It should have hurt, but it didn't. I'd evolved past that. The unfairness lingered in quiet moments, but it fueled my growth, not resentment. I blocked her on social subtly, unfollowed the shared circles that might feed drama. Life was mine again, and it felt earned. Of course, karma doesn't wait long. About 3 weeks after the breakup, cracks started showing in Emily's perfect upgrade. I got the scoop piecemeal from mutuals who weren't buying her narrative anymore. Turns out Alex wasn't the driven entrepreneur she'd hyped. He was unstable, bouncing between gigs, living off charm and connections. Friends said he'd used her for intros at networking events, then started flaking. One night, at a party she dragged him to, he got drunk and flirted with her coworker right in front of her. She confronted him, and he laughed it off. Babe, relax, it's just networking. It escalated fast. Alex had a temper, apparently. During an argument about his late nights, he yelled at her in public, calling her clingy, the same word she'd thrown at me once. She posted a cryptic story about toxic vibes, but deleted it quick. Then the big reveal. A mutual friend dug a bit and found out Alex was still technically married, separated but not divorced, using dating apps on the side. He'd played Emily like a fiddle, charming her into covering dates and even lending him cash for his startup expenses. When she pushed for commitment, he ghosted, blocked her everywhere, left her hanging with unpaid shared tabs. Emily unraveled publicly. Her social media went dark for days, then flooded with self-help quotes about learning from mistakes. But the damage was done. Friends who'd cheered her glow up started distancing. Turns out, a few knew about Alex's rep and had warned her privately, but she ignored them. At work, the distraction cost her. She botched a big client pitch, got reprimanded, and rumors spread about her personal drama affecting performance. Isolation set in. Her once vibrant circle shrank as people sided with the truth. They'd seen how she'd treated me, the loyal guy, as disposable. I didn't gloat, didn't seek it out. But when a friend forwarded her frantic group chat message, "Has anyone heard from him? I think I messed up big time," it confirmed the justice. She'd discarded me cruelly, and now she was tasting her own medicine, abandoned, humiliated, irrelevant in the big life she'd chased. It felt ironic, earned, like the universe balancing the scales after I'd endured the silence and unfairness. The unraveling didn't stop at her professional slip-ups. Emily's family got involved, which was predictable. They'd always been enablers, the kind who excused her flaws as ambition. Her sister, Lisa, called me first about a month post-breakup. I was at work, wrapping up a meeting where I'd just nailed a presentation for that project I'd taken on. My phone buzzed, and I saw her name. Haven't talked to Lisa in ages, but I answered out of curiosity. "Hey, it's Lisa," she said, her voice dripping with that fake concern. "Emily's been a mess. You know how she gets, impulsive. But she misses you. The family's worried. Mom thinks you two were perfect together. Why not give her another shot? She's learned her lesson with that Alex jerk." I kept it neutral. "Appreciate the call, Lisa, but that's between Emily and me." She huffed, turning unpleasant quick. "Come on, don't be stubborn. You're acting like a child, moving on so fast. Emily said you blocked her? That's low. Family sticks together. You owe her a conversation at least." "Owe her?" After she'd treated me like a stepping stone? I ended the call politely. "Not interested. Take care." Blocked Lisa too. It revealed their toxicity, pressuring me while ignoring how Emily had manipulated and discarded me. No accountability, just entitlement. Emily's attempt started small, but escalated. First text came that evening. "Hey, can we talk? Alex was a mistake. I see that now. Miss our talks." I didn't respond. A day later, another. "Please? I was wrong about the whole upgrading thing. You're the stable one I need." Still ignored. By the weekend, calls started, 3 in a row one night. I let them go to voicemail. "Pick up," her message said, voice shaky. "I know you're seeing someone," friends told me. "But that's rebound stuff. We had real history. Let's meet for coffee." Desperation ramped up. She showed up at the apartment unannounced on a Tuesday evening, banging on the door. I'd already moved her boxes to storage and notified the landlord I was out at month's end, prepping for a fresh start. I opened the door halfway, keeping distance. "Finally," she said, eyes red like she'd been crying. But there was an edge, not pure remorse. "Why are you ignoring me? I came to apologize. Alex used me, took my money, ghosted. Work's a disaster because of it. I need you back. We were good together." I stood there calm. "Emily, we're done. You made that clear." She stepped closer, voice rising. "Done? Just like that? After everything? You're dating already? That's hypocritical. I was honest with you. Why can't you give me a chance to fix this?" Her hypocrisy shone through. The same twisted logic, now flipped when it didn't suit her. "Honest," I echoed mildly. "Like when you said relationships are upgradable?" She faltered, then got angry, true colors emerging. "Don't throw my words back. I was confused, okay? Stressed from work. But you, jumping to someone new in a week? That's spiteful. Friends think you're being petty, and my family agrees. Lisa said you're cold for blocking everyone." I didn't budge. "Your attempts aren't changing anything. Goodbye, Emily." Closed the door softly, no slam. She yelled through it. "You'll regret this. No one else will put up with your boring life." It was desperate, lashing out to regain power. I heard her storm off, and that was it for the night. Internally, it confirmed my growth. I felt nothing but pity for her mess, not sympathy. She'd become irrelevant, her drama a distant echo. The calls kept coming, increasingly frantic. Voicemails turned vicious. How dare you move on like I meant nothing? I see your posts. Happy with her? Fake. Come talk to me, or I'll show up at your work. I documented it all, just in case, but stayed detached. Her friends piled on via texts, toxic echoes like, give her a break, man. She's hurting. Blocked them one by one. The power reversal was clear. She'd been smug, dismissive. Now she was unraveling, begging while I built forward. It all culminated at our mutual friend Jake's birthday party, 2 months after the breakup. I debated going. Knew she might be there, but Sarah encouraged it. Show them you're good, she said. We arrived together, hand in hand. The venue was a rooftop bar downtown, string lights and music creating a vibe. I was in a sharp button-up, feeling confident from the promotion I'd just landed. Sarah looked stunning, laughing with my friends like she'd always been part of the circle. Emily spotted us from across the room. She approached, drink in hand, makeup flawless but eyes desperate. A few mutuals watched, sensing the tension. We need to talk, she said, ignoring Sarah at first. Privately. I shook my head calmly. Not necessary. She glanced at Sarah, then back to me, voice low but urgent. Who's she? Your rebound? Come on, this is ridiculous. I messed up with Alex. He was abusive, fake, drained my savings. I'm isolated now, friends bailing because of the drama. Even lost a client at work. But you're thriving? That's not fair. Let's restart. We can fix this. Her words revealed the shift. Power reversed. Her hypocrisy on display. She was pleading, exposing her desperation publicly. Sarah squeezed my hand, but I handled it. Emily, I said firmly, tone evolved. No anger, just finality. Remember what you said. I won't cheat, but if someone better shows up, why would I stay? She blinked, caught off guard. I didn't mean. I mirrored it back, calm and definitive. Someone better showed up. Why would I stay? The irony hung there. She saw Sarah, genuine, supportive, the upgrade in every way. Saw my new life. Promotion, new apartment on the horizon, happiness without her drama. Emily's face crumpled, but she lashed out one last time. You're cruel. Enjoy your better, while it lasts. She'll see the real you. I didn't engage. My growth doesn't include you anymore. You're irrelevant to my happiness now. Turned to Sarah. Let's grab a drink. We walked away, her protests fading into the crowd. Mutual friends nodded approvingly. A few even apologized later for defending her initially. The visual reversal was stark. Me thriving, her desperate, and alone in the same space where she'd once flaunted her upgrade. That was the end. Blocked her everywhere. No more contact. Last I heard through the grapevine, she's still spiraling, switched jobs, but the reputation followed. Me? Sarah and I are solid, planning a trip next month. I've built a life where betrayal's just a lesson, not a scar. If you're reading this and it sounds familiar, remember, their rules apply to you too. Walk away with dignity and watch the justice unfold. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.